Chicos, empezamos. Escribimos la fecha, lunes 15 de junio de 2020. Escribimos el título, Actúa localmente. Para empezar, leemos el texto y completamos en inglés las frases. ¿Sí? To start with, read a text and complete the sentences in English that you have on the right-hand side. You may need your vocab booklet. You know that you have it. I send that to you. You also have that on MS Teams. You can use word reference as well if you have any issues. Now remember, for reading, you do not have to understand all the words. However, those keywords that you are going to need, and that you don't know, I want you to write them down in a glossary. So let's do 3 of them together, and you do the other ones. It says, in 2000 there was, okay, and if we start reading, it says, ¿Es posible una guerra mundial del agua? Right, agua, we know that it's water. Guerra, I'm telling you, it's war. So a world war about water, or a water world war. You also have help here, by the way, yeah? And you have a challenge. So it says, en 2000 hubo una guerra del agua en Cochabamba, Bolivia. Right, so hubo, it's the past tense of I. I, remember, it's there is or there are. So, in 2000, there was a water war in Cochabamba, Bolivia. Okay? So that's the answer for the first one. Let's do the 2 and 3 now. It says, number 2, the multinational company Aguas del Tunari, okay, empresa is company. La empresa multinacional Aguas del Tunari triplicó los precios del servicio de agua. Right, so precios, we have seen that in module 5 when we were talking about shops, we were talking about money. Precios is the price of things, and you can guess that it's talking about that this company did something to the prices of water service. Triplicó, you know, you can guess it. It's a cognate, yeah, triplicated. So 3 times, you increase the prices 3 times. And number 3, this provoked, okay, lo que provocó una revuelta masiva. Okay, masiva, we can guess it's massive. Revuelta, if you look at the picture, you can have an idea as well, and just think about the context because it's going to give you an idea. So you are in a city in Bolivia, and there's a company that manages water services, and they increase the prices massively. So what is going to happen? So there were some riots. Revuelta is riot, so a massive riot. Okay, so do number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own. Again, you have some help here. Escasez, shortage, or scarcity, which you are going to need for number 7. It's important you can guess. Now, pause the video and we are going to start. Right, okay, so now that this activity is completed, let's move on. What I want you to do now is to do a vocab test. Let's see if you remember. Do not worry if you do not. I'm going to give you about 5-6 minutes. Write them down, all of them, the 10 of them, and let's see if we can manage without any help. Yeah? So let's see if we can manage to translate them without any help. Okay, pause the video. Right, now you should have done the 10 of them. Maybe you left some gaps. With a red pen, con un boli rojo, corregimos. ¿Sí? Ok, apagar la luz, to turn off the lights. Reciclar el plástico, to recycle plastic. Ahorrar energía, to save energy. Cerrar el grifo, to switch off the tap. Desenchufar, to unplug or disconnect. Ok, 6. Ducharse en vez de bañarse, to shower instead of bathing. Se debería, you should, or one should. This one is a great structure. Remember that we saw that in a few units ago. It's followed by an infinitive. Yeah, you should turn off the light. Se debería apagar la luz. Malgastar el agua, waste water. You or one must not. Well, it's actually the same as number 7. Yeah, no se debería. Or actually, we can make a change there. And so that is a bit different. So we can say no se debe. Okay? So no se debe is you must not. In order to look after, para cuidar. So we want to say it in order to look after the environment, you should recycle plastic. Think about the sentence. Let's see how you would say it. So in order to look after the environment, you should recycle plastic. So para cuidar el medio ambiente, ¿sí? Para cuidar el medio ambiente se debería reciclar el plástico. Right. Hopefully you got there at least 6 or more. Now for next week, you have here more words that I'd like you to revise. For example, me preocupa, I am worried about, el paro, unemployment, el hambre, hunger. You have seen all these in the other unit. Los sin hogar, homeless, obesity, obesidad, tanta desigualdad, so much inequality. So revise them. We are going to do a small test just like we did now. Yeah, so let's make sure that we are revising for it. Vale, empezamos. Ahora, en el cuaderno escribimos leer. Let's write leer. Y tenemos 6 consejos. Tenemos 6 consejos. Consejos is a piece of advice. So we have 6 pieces of advice here. No hay que cortar tantos árboles. Remember, hay que means have to. Yeah, so no hay que cortar tantos árboles. We don't have to cut down so many trees. No se debería tirar basura. We should not litter. No deberíamos construir tantas casas grandes. We should not build so many big houses. Hay que evitar viajar en coche si es posible. We have to avoid traveling by car if it's possible. No se debe malgastar energía. We must not waste energy. No se debería echar tantos desechos químicos en los mares. We should not throw so many chemical waste in the sea. You need to match these options with the 6 texts that you have on top. Now, first of all, make sure that you have written the 6 phrases and translated them. I just did for you. And let's do this together. So pause the video and just match them. And I'm going to go through the answers. So it says, la destrucción de los bosques es un problema muy serio. Okay, so bosques is forest. It's a very serious problem. Destruction. So obviously it's going to be A. No hay que cortar los árboles. This is the advice. El aire está contaminado. O sea, contaminado is polluted. The air is polluted. So I would say that the option is we have to travel by car. We have to avoid traveling by car. Hay que evitar viajar en coche. Hay demasiada basura en las calles. There's too much rubbish on the streets. So no se debería tirar basura. La polución de los mares y ríos me preocupa mucho. So the pollution in the rivers and the sea It's something that worries me a lot. It's a great structure if you manage to write this one in a piece of writing. The answer will be this one. Hay demasiada gente sin espacio para vivir. So there's too many people without, sin is without, space to live. So we should not build big houses. Y los combustibles fósiles se acaban. Los combustibles fósiles se acaban. Yeah, that's the last one. So the fossil fuels are running out. So we should not waste energy. Okay, so make sure that we have marked this in red, yeah? Okay, so now we are going to be working on this piece of text. We're going to be working on it quite a bit. I want us to do a few activities on it because it's quite good. If you see that it's blurry when you watch that on YouTube because the quality is somehow compromised, then make sure that you download the PowerPoint and you can open it so that you can actually see it properly. Okay, so we have 3 texts there. Well, it's basically A and B, what you have to really read with attention, yeah? So there are 2 different houses. So we have casas de plástico, casas prefabricadas, yeah? So first of all, I just want you to read all of it, yeah? And then look at the words that are highlighted in yellow and red. These are words that normally can be a bit challenging, yeah? Because, for example, the word como, which I put here, sometimes it can mean as, it can mean eat or how. Yeah, I don't know if you realize so far that como is a eat, but it also means how. What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? Yeah? Same thing with hace. It means ago, like 3 months ago, hace 3 meses, or it can be he or she does. Llevar can be to wear, or carry, take, para. It can be stop, or it can be in order to or for. Yeah? So there are these words that are polysemic, so they have different meanings depending on the context. So that's why they are challenging, and they can make you not really understand the text sometimes. So we have to understand, we have to build a strategy that when we read a text, we are able to, in our minds, choose the right meaning according to the context. So what you need to do is the ones in yellow, just tell me what you think that means in the content. So, llevar. In this sentence, creo que es posible llevar una vida más verde. Do you think that in that context it actually means to carry, to wear, to take, or lead? I'm going to tell you the first one myself. So, creo que es posible. I think it's possible. Green alive and save the planet. Obviously, you are not going to wear a green life. You're not going to take a green life. You're not going to carry a green life. You are going to lead a green life. Yeah. So the first one would be lead, and then do the other ones in yellow first, and then the challenge that I want everyone to do as well is we have some false friends. In case you've forgotten about it. False friends are words that they are very, very similar to an English word. However, they do not mean the same things. For example, the word embarazada sounds a bit like embarrassed, but it's not embarrassed, it means pregnant. Yeah? Or the word arena, you may think that it's a place where there are concerts, or or a place where we can do a public gathering for something. However, arena in Spanish means sand. Yeah. What I want you to do is once you have done the yellow, do the red. You may need word reference for that one. Yeah. Okay. So now let's mark it. Con un boli rojo corregimos. So, Aquí tenéis unos pequeños ejemplos de cómo la gente intenta reducir. Right, cómo in this case is how. So we have some examples about how people intenta was in yellow, in red, sorry, means to try. Intenta is to try. Yeah? Desde hace más de 8 años, okay? Hace in this context is ago. So for more than 8 years, yeah? Santi Mora lleva un proyecto de construcción. Again, lleva in this context is going to be lead. So he's leading a construction project. Yeah, he's not carrying it, he's not wearing the project. Arena, so he's talking about that the bottles are getting full of sand. And then para muchos años, so reciclamos la basura de cada día en una casa económica para muchos años, for many years. Then again, here, para generar energía, we know that para plus infinitive is in order to, so in order to generate energy. Incluso means even. Para consumo, for consumption, yeah? Las casas se hacen en una fábrica, so in this case, is houses are built, yeah, so, or are done, or made. En una fábrica. Fábrica is a factory. Y the last one. Si la persona se muda, puede llevarse su casa. Now, so if a person moves out, they can actually take or carry the house to a new address. So in that case, llevar would be to carry. Okay? Now, next thing I want us to do is to read the text again. And this time you are going to look for these 10 words in the text. Yeah, so carbon footprint are filled with and also on. Just make sure that you have written leer and that you write these words in English and then the Spanish. Okay? Ok, vamos a corregir con el boli rojo. Let's mark this. Carbon footprint, huella de carbono, are filled with, se llenan de. Everyday rubbish, la basura de cada día, simple, sencilla. Warm, cálida, cheaper, más barata. Like this, así, serves to, se repara, moves, se muda, new home, nuevo domicilio. Okay? Right, so now that you have marked that in red, we are going to do the last activity with this text. So now we should start to understand what this is about. So you have here 2 things that you need to do. First, you need to tell me from these 6 statements that you have here on the bottom left if they are referred to house A, house B, or both. Yeah? So, let's do that. Se usan materiales reciclados. So they use recycled materials. So either house A or B. Right, it's A. Yeah? It's talking about here about houses that are made with recycled plastic bottles. And nothing about that is mentioned in this one. Nothing is mentioned about recycling. Now do the other ones on your own. Okay, let's mark this now. If you get something wrong, do not worry, but if you get it wrong, I want you to look for the evidence in the text. Yeah? So that was the evidence for the first one. Okay, 2A. Yeah, so houses are built in Chile. Yeah, and we can have it here. The information, Chileno gives you the clue. Number 3, the construction process is fast. It's actually B. So, acelerar sounds like accelerating, yeah? And it's talking about 1 week there, or 90 days, so that's very, very fast. Number 4, the houses cost less than traditional houses. So it's A, B, or both. In this case, it's both, yeah? So we have that in A, it says an economical house, and here is cheaper house. Okay, 5, The houses can be carried. So it's B. We talked about that earlier as well. So if the person moves out, they can carry the house. And the last one is B, which is here. So they use renewable energy. Utiliza paneles solares, solar panels. Now, what I want you to do now is you have the 6 questions. They're in English. The 4 you need to answer in English. Make sure that you don't have to write down the questions. Just write the number and the answer in English. Remember that in the assessment, if you write the answer in the wrong language, you don't get any marks. Right, so for the first one, what are people trying to reduce with their houses? Okay, they are trying to reduce the carbon footprint. Yeah, it was here. Make sure that you post the text, yeah? Not the text, the video. Okay, in text A, how are the eco bricks made? Okay, with recycled plastic bottles filled with earth or sand, which it was here. Yeah? Eco ladrillos. According to Santi Morales, what are the 2 advantages of his houses? Okay, you recycle everyday rubbish and have a cheap house for many years. Okay, you need both options, yeah, not just one. So if in the assessment they ask you to give 2 options for 1 mark, that means that if you give 1, you will only get half a mark. Yeah, you need both. Okay, in question 4, we are being asked this. Apart from the cost, list 3 further characteristics for CAS4 houses. Okay, simple, cheap, and eco-friendly. Okay, 5. What does the roof of CAS4 do? It collects water that you can then even consume. Where exactly are these Argentinian houses made? A factory, right? Now, con un boli rojo escribimos qué ha ido bien y cómo mejorar. So thinking about everything that we have done in this, with this text, we have done there about 4 or 5 activities there. We have really drilled the vocabulary, the structures that we have been learning so far. I want you to write what went well in these activities and how to improve. In terms of your reading skills, so what do you do well and what things do you need to improve? For example, if I were to do these activities myself, thing that I would need to improve, and I'm sure about it, could be finding evidence in the text. That is possibly the most difficult thing. That's why I highlighted that in colors. And things that I do well could be finding cognates or even what we did at the beginning, finding the right meaning for words that have more than just one meaning. Yeah, it has to be something that applies to you, but please do think about it. I need you to reflect about it. Okay, now, and to finish the lesson, so I want you to write 150 words. Everyone needs to write 150 words, even if you were supposed to do foundation. So, you have 2 bullet points here. Sorry, you have 2 bullet points here, and you are being asked to write an article for a magazine for your school against this argument. It says here, no se puede salvar el planeta. You cannot save the planet. So you have to say something against that. So you need to include 2 bullet points. One talking about the world problems that worry you the most, and what can you do to help locally and globally. Yeah? So, first of all, I want you to do that the way I put that here. So I want you to start with this, then that, and finish with this. So start with an introduction, yeah, because we're doing an article. So you can say, it's true that there are many problems such as. So, es verdad que hay muchos problemas tales como. And then you just write a few problems, like can be poverty, obesity, homeless. We have talked about that. Then you are going to use the structure. The problem that most worry me are, and then you talk about it, I need you to include these. I need you to include the superlatives that we saw that a few weeks ago. Yeah? Health problems, drug addiction, obesity, the lack of. Problems with inequality, poverty, lack of jobs. Problems with the environment, animals in danger of extinction, atmospheric contamination of the rivers. Example of all the tenses. So think about the tenses. You need to talk about past and future as well. Yeah, and you need the structures like se debería, hay que. Okay, and don't forget about connectives. Make it quite nice. And the structures that we have seen, like me atrevería a decir que. Yeah, all these things that you need to check from the fancy, spicy sentences that I gave you. For the second bullet point, then this is what you need to do. You need to use verbs like you must, we have to, we should, plus the infinitive. So hay que, se debería, se debe. Yeah, because we're talking about what we have to do to help. Yeah? So, se debería ahorrar energía. Además, hay que cerrar los grifos. Something like that. In terms of the language, you can talk about publicity campaigns, everything is modulate, eating well, doing exercise. Examples in the past of something healthy that you've done. Yeah, in the past I used to do this, however now I do that. Inequality, support aid projects, work with a charity organization. Environment, recycling, separating rubbish. Example of how I help in the future or on a gap year, for example. So, en el futuro me gustaría, and then an infinitive. And then to finish, the conclusion, so it is possible to solve the problems. Yeah, and say that in Spanish. Es posible solucionar los problemas. We must be optimistic. Yeah, try to say that in Spanish. And make sure that you have added the connective, fancy phrases, and all these things. Try to tick it. Yeah, you don't have to print it, but tick it mentally. And then just to finish, when you have done the 150 words, try to do this exit ticket. Just to remember a little bit. So, what does el paro mean? What does el hambre mean? What does los animales en peligro de extinción mean? What about number 4, 5, and 6? And then thinking about the superlative that we have done, like what does mayor mean? Mejor, peor, el problema más grave, la tasa más alta, sobre todo. If you don't check your notes, please, we have seen that. And then the numbers, the higher numbers that we saw. What does 500 mean? 3,500, and so on. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. This is the first part. Next week, we will do the second part of Actúa localmente. Please stay safe and enjoy your week.